Hello, 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 hello. Hour number 2 of the Line Talk 99.5 and Talk 99.5.com and DrewMcLean and all the things. Welcome to the show on this Wednesday. Yes, sir. Glad to have you here. A lot of other elections. Oh, one that people kept bringing up to me locally, because there was a lot of local, sheriffs and stuff like that. People kept texting me about the Walker County Sheriff's race, which you all know me. I don't say anything bad about Walker County because I don't want to end up disappeared, as they say on the left. Not that Walker County would ever do that to me, but
No.
I might get a shirt made that just says "I love Walker County." Good people. I mean, we got a lot of listeners in Walker County too, so obviously there's good people up there.
They got you covered, man.
But the sheriff race, Nick Smith lost his sheriff's race, and we've heard a lot about him. I've never really taken a stance on it because, one, it's not my county, but, it's kind of it's a mixed bag. I mean, some people say good things about him. Some people say bad things about him. Some people say really bad things about him. I don't know him personally, but, whether the good or the bad, he's not going to be sheriff anymore. So, move on. Move on, cousin. Move on. A lot of it stemmed, and maybe it was from beforehand. And I get a lot of this stuff off social media and different comments and people making accusations and stuff, which may be true, may not be true. But a lot of it stems from the death of that individual in the jail, in the I guess the Walker County jail from a few years back. And there's been lawsuits and, guilty pleas and all kinds of stuff that have just plagued Nick Smith's career that has made him a bad guy to a lot of people. So Walker County decided they don't want that drama. So say that drama for your mama, and have moved on. But across the board, and I'll get to the phone calls in a second. Donald Trump going 37-0 on primaries. In Pennsylvania, it was 10-0. In Alabama, it was 6-0. In Georgia, it was 9-0. In Idaho, 5-0. In Oregon, 1-0. Who knew there was a Trump candidate in Oregon? And then in Kentucky, 6-0, which again shows you the utter influence that Donald Trump has on these primaries. One in particular that I'm extremely excited about, maybe even more so than any of the others, is what happened in Georgia last night. Dirty, scumbag, rat-faced Brad Raffensperger loses his GOP gubernatorial primary in a Peachtree State shellacking, beat down. Take it back to the house, baby. Brad Raffensperger is a scummy, scummy individual. And could have just been one of these guys that just stayed under the radar. But he wanted to stick his disgusting rat-faced nose into the 2020 election, try to get Donald Trump impeached and all kind. And he was a hero of the left, even though he was a Republican. And that's what makes it worse. Almost makes you worse than a Democrat when you're a Republican acting like a Democrat. He was a hero of the liberals and the liberal media. He lied to the American public about the contents of a call that he had with Donald Trump before the state of Georgia certified the 2020 election. Not only did he lie about the phone call, remember, he was like, Donald Trump told me I needed to find 12,000 votes, or whatever the number was. He's like, I need to find some votes. He was wanting me to cheat. But what happened is, well, one, it was a lie. But two, a crime was committed within this. Brad Raffensperger's office committed a crime with that phone call, which happened on January 2nd, 2021. What happened was a guy by the name of Jordan Fuchs, who was the Georgia Deputy Secretary of State in 2020. Brad Raffensperger was the Secretary of State. This guy was the deputy. He was on the phone call between Trump and Raffensperger without announcing it. He was basically just on a three-way deal, bystander, and they didn't tell Trump. And he ultimately recorded the call. That's a criminal act because in the state of Florida, it's a two-party consent state, which means you got to notify an individual before you record them in the state of Florida. Jordan Fuchs did not do that. When did I call him a he? I meant to call him a she. You can't ever tell with some of these people that act like liberals. So she didn't notify the president that he was being recorded. And not only that, but it's the president, okay? The president of the United States. But that wasn't it. Her second illegal act was destroying the audio recording so people couldn't hear what was actually said. She basically went to the Washington Post and said, we had a phone call with Donald Trump, and here's what he said, and gave him basically an edited transcript. And then trashed the recording. Now, when they went to look for the recording, guess where they found it? In the trash folder on her computer. She didn't even empty her recycling bin. Yeah. She's a big old dummy. So, anyway, January 2nd, 2021, Trump makes the phone call to Raffensperger to tell him basically, hey, look at some of these things that your auditor of the state of Georgia has uncovered. Blatant election fraud, election violations. There's plenty of evidence for a competent auditor or any man or woman of integrity to know that that election was uncertifiable. But Brad Raffensperger's office, instead of doing the right thing, decided to record the phone call of Trump and lie about the contents when they leaked it to the Washington Post. They altered the phone call and released their inaccurate version the very next day. And then Jordan Fuchs, provided the Washington Post with the fraudulent Trump quote that the paper ran in an anti-Trump piece on that day as well. And so what they planned on doing at that time, they planned on doing the most damage to Trump before the sham impeachment trial in the U.S. Senate. It was totally planned for maximum effect. And after they were caught lying to the American public, the Washington Post outed Jordan Fuchs. Nobody knew who it was at first, and then they were finally like, yeah, it was this person. They did it. It's not our fault for putting out lies. It was them. So Raffensperger's out. Look for Raffensperger to join a Democrat group as soon as he leaves office next year. He will also, like Thomas Massey, have a book coming. And it'll be full of narcissism and all of the things that make them so great and wonderful and how they're such a fighter for freedom. Also, Butterball Gabe Sterling in Georgia, eliminated in the Georgia Secretary of State race. Gabe Sterling was another anti-Trumper that for years was publicly scolding Donald Trump for alleging that the Georgia 2020 race was stolen. He finished in a distant fourth place in the GOP Secretary of State primary and did not make the runoff election. So that's going to be Vernon Jones and Tim Fleming in that runoff. And they're going to take on the Democrat. I don't even know who the Democrat in that race is. But it's just it's a good thing, man. It's a good thing, and that's part of the numbers. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful the way yesterday's primaries turned out. All right, your phone calls coming up. 205-545-9950 if you want to get in. 205-545-9950. Also watch us on YouTube. I got it pulled up right here. I monitor. Oh, I just threw my phone. I monitor YouTube at all times. Got it right here on this fancy iPhone 13. Yes. Even better than a 16E. It's older, but it's actually not older. It's actually brand new.
Yeah, it's actually much better than the old 16E.
Is it? You think it is?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that 16E, it's just, don't get me started.
I talked to my stepdaughter about that. She works at a cell phone spot.
Right.
And she goes, 16E's good. What's the she says, is it operator error? Like, why does he not like it? I said, I don't know.
No, I don't have Siri. I have Sorry.
Hey, sorry. Send a text message.
Yeah, I mean, GPS takes me all over hell and back and not the right place. So I use Google now.
I got you. All right, phone calls coming up, 205-545-9950. While we watch Donald Trump speak in Connecticut, may bring you some of that as well. Coming up next. Going back to Walker County, Trunker Jack says, I've lived in Walker County for 39 years, and I'm glad it has a bad reputation. It keeps the whiny ass libturds and do-gooders away, so we don't need it. We don't need it. We don't want them, and all I can say about Nick Smith is good riddance. It's long overdue. I mean, that's a pretty interesting concept, that you got a bad reputation, and it keeps whiny people out of there, keeps liberals out, you know? Just keep your town scary and keep liberals out of there.
That's right, man.
That's apparently
Make it Halloween all year round.
Yeah. That is interesting. So, and I don't know, again, I didn't look too far into it, so I don't even know who won. I just know Nick Smith got booted out, so maybe the new guy is going to have some, I don't know. I mean, I guess he'll, having a fresh start, he's probably going to have a lot on his plate trying to revamp and rebuild the trust of the public or large portions of the public. But maybe he can do it. Who knows? Maybe he can do it. All right, couple things outside of the primaries, which, again, we'll be having runoff elections, and then come November will be the big ones. But Trump posted about an hour ago, and I would imagine he was probably on Air Force One firing this off, something that's not getting a lot of attention, related to something that has gotten a lot of attention, that we've talked a lot about, that is vitally important, and that is the Save America Act. And the Save America Act has been stalled, along with other bills, have been stalled by the Senate parliamentarian, which is an individual that it's a process. It's a person that applies a process of going over bills that are passed by the Senate, making sure the language is correct, but also has the ability to strike things down or send things that did pass back to the Senate and say, hey, you got to fix X, Y, and Z, or this does not fly, or this is not allowed, blah, 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 blah. And as most things are in politics, there could be bias involved in it. There could be situations where the Senate parliamentarian can let it go and they don't, and so on and so forth. But this is not a thing, a position where people vote. This gets appointed by the president, and it's an appointment that I don't believe, has any sort of term limits. So Trump posted regarding the SAVE Act about the Senate parliamentarian this. He said, shockingly, the Republicans have kept the very important position of parliamentarian in the hands of a woman, Elizabeth McDonough, who was appointed long ago by Barack Hussein Obama and vicious lunatic known as Senator Harry Reid, who ran the Senate for the Democrats with an iron fist. He's calling them the Democrats now, by the way, which is kind of corny, but also kind of funny. You know, it's like when your uncle comes up to you at Thanksgiving and he's like got a real funny political joke, and he's like, "How about the Democrats?" And you're like, you know. But because it's Trump, it's kind of funny. He says, over the years, she has been brutal to Republicans, but not so to the Democrats. So why has she not been replaced? There are many fair people who would be qualified for that vital job. The Republicans play a very soft game compared to the Democrats. It is their single biggest disadvantage in politics. The Democrats cheat, lie, and steal, especially when it comes to votes in elections, but stick together, whereas the Republicans allow the Elizabeth McDonoughs of the world to stay in power and brutalize us. We need the Save America Act passed, and now. And likewise, kill the filibuster, which would give us everything. If we don't pass at least one of these two provisions quickly, you will never see another Republican president again. The Democrats will end up with 2 additional states, D.C. and Puerto Rico, and all that entails, including 4 senators, many congressmen, and many additional electoral votes, and they will also get their dream of a packed United States Supreme Court with their most favorable number, 21 justices. Can you imagine? And don't put it past these people. Can you imagine the Democrats putting 21 justices on the Supreme Court? And they getting to pick, by the way, if they kill the filibuster and pass that while a Democrat is in office, that would mean they would be selecting 12 justices. Did I get that number right? It's 9 now, so it would be 12. Then we get to pick 12 justices. So the court would be Republican, Democrat. It would be 6 conservatives and 15 liberals.
Good land. It's like the NCAA March Madness. They keep expanding the field.
And that's what they do, man. When they can't win, they cheat or they change the rules. It says the Democrats will eliminate the filibuster on their first day that they get an opportunity to do so. The Republicans aren't doing that, aren't doing it because they say the Democrats will never do it. But Republicans are wrong. Get smart and tough, Republicans, or you'll be looking for a job much sooner than you thought possible. Donald J. Trump. And now, that is obviously about those two issues, and it's about the Senate parliamentarian, but the Save America Act is about securing the elections. It's amazing to me, and I don't know why or who in Congress actually thinks that the Democrats wouldn't kill the filibuster. But those individuals, if you actually believe that, you don't deserve to be in office. And yeah, maybe they're telling you they won't, but even those of us on the outside looking in know for a fact they would absolutely do that on day one. And if you don't beat them to it, you're going to lose. And America is going to lose from here on out. Noto Roofing, T.O. Roofing, your hometown roofing company. And this is what I love about Noto, is because they are hometown. They are right here in Alabama. They're not a lot of roofing companies, or they end up being bought out by these conglomerates or these bigger companies, and so they're just kind of an installation of a much larger deal. Not Noto. They've kept it right here at home. There's not Notos all over the country. There's a Noto right here in Alabama, serving Alabama people and taking care of said people, especially taking care of the 99.5 family. You hear people call all the time and talk about how they got Noto out at their house and they're doing a fantastic job. You're next. If you hadn't got that free roof inspection and complimentary roof tune-up, reach out to them. Let them know I sent you. And get yourself taken care of by the best of the best. 205-848-2299. That's 848-2299. Online, notoroofing.com. Notoroofing.com. I got some content ideas I'm going to bring up at 12 o'clock for you.
Ooh.
And I think you're going to be excited about this because this is going to increase your quality of life.
Me like.
That's right. That's right. And we may try to get the audience involved in it. Who knows?
Okay.
Do we have a John Bird plays the guitar for this Friday?
Yes, and due to the extreme amount of singing I had to do last night, I'm having to shift gears. I'm going to do, I'm sorry, but Lido Shuffle.
Lido Shuffle.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, that's by what's his name? He's awesome.
Yeah, what's his name?
Yeah. Yeah, he's great. Boss Gags.
Boss Gags.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, I looked at the other one. I don't think I'll have the voice by Friday to pull it off. I'm sorry. I can see the look on your face.
It's fine. I don't care. It's fine.
Man, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I can try it, but
don't apologize to me. As long as just make sure the audience is fine with it. That's who it's for. It's not for me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think I can do a better job because we've got so much going on. I can't really put in the time to practice, and I screwed up, and we weren't able to decide until Tuesday.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
That's on me.
Yeah, and I mean it's a thing that we came up with, so we make the rules anyway. So
you're right.
So it's not like anybody's got a gun to our head and say if we do it wrong, they're gonna blast us.
That would be awful.
It would be. So, Boss Gags, Lido Shuffle coming up this Friday, and tomorrow we'll get your suggestions for next week if we can remember.
No, I matter of fact, last night after the gig when I got home and I was wired, I went ahead and put a reminder in there.
Gotcha.
On my phone.
Okay.
Oh, it's a 16E.
205-545-9950. With talk of the Senate, and by the way, Trump is still speaking at this this Coast Guard Academy graduation.
Man, they're in jackets.
So I bet it's in Connecticut. Maybe it's not that hot.
Yeah, it's probably not that hot. Maybe not that humid. The humidity. Ooh.
Yeah, it was probably not that much fun. But in the Senate, they, as of yesterday, this may have even been, this happened sometime yesterday. The Senate advanced or voted 50-47 to advance a war powers resolution to limit Donald Trump's actions in Iran. This has been something that the Democrats have been working on. I think they've voted on this like 7 times at this point. They voted to advance it to another vote to basically say Donald Trump can't do anything with Iran unless the Senate or Congress approves of it, which you could imagine being an absolute disaster. Senator Bill Cassidy from Louisiana joined the Democrats after he lost his primary on Saturday amid Trump's Rhino Revenge Tour. And this shows you how unserious these people are, or how vengeful they are. I was talking about what Thomas Massey said in his concession speech, and instead of just being gracious and grateful for the opportunity. They're vengeful. They come out, and whether it hurts you or it doesn't, whether it hurts America or whatever, they get out here and they do stuff based on revenge. That's what Bill Cassidy did after he got shellacked in his race. Also, GOP senators Susan Collins and Rand Paul joined the Democrats in this vote. Now, it would have been a 50-50, but you had 3 GOP senators that did not vote. You had John Cornyn, you had Tom Tillis, and you had Tommy Tuberville, who was not there to vote, would have voted for or voted against this, but his vote, that would have put him at 48. It's whatever. That's another argument for another time. So the Senate advanced the resolution to limit Donald Trump's war powers in Iran, which is coming after Democrats' 7 failed attempts. Senators approved the motion to discharge the resolution from committee in a 50-47 for Republicans. Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Rand Paul, and Bill Cassidy joined the bulk of Democrats. Senator John Fetterman of Pennsylvania was the sole Democrat to oppose that voted with Republicans. It marked the first time Cassidy supported advancing a war power resolution, coming days after he failed to win enough support to advance to a runoff in the Louisiana GOP Senate primary, where Trump endorsed one of his opponents. So there you go. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully, Congress does not, the Senate does not pass that. We'll see. But, and hopefully it all becomes irrelevant, because this thing is hopefully going to be over sooner than later. Here's what we're kind of looking at. Now we're in this stalemate or ceasefire, if you will, with Iran. And it's something we haven't talked about in a few days. The situation that we're currently in, Donald Trump was mere minutes away from launching attacks on Iran yet again. And the Gulf states surrounding Iran convinced the president and the cabinet to hold off just a little longer, saying, let's just give them the chance to make a deal, and then if it doesn't work, do what you got to do. They don't want the bombing to start again, because they don't want retaliatory fire that ends up on their mainland, which they have seen in the past. But the president's patience is wearing thin, and he's not going to allow this to just drag on and drag on. Now, the mindset of the Iranians is this is what the Iranians think they can accomplish. They think they can wait the president out and have him ultimately just withdraw, wash his hands of it, and say, we won. That's it. We're pulling out. We're not going to deal with it anymore. They think they can continue to stall until Donald Trump gets to the point that the political pressure is too much, where he can withdraw and proclaim that we won, but still pull out with accomplishing the clear objectives that have been laid out because of, again, political pressure, a.k.a. gas prices. But as we saw last night in the primaries, Donald Trump is still, according to the votes, viewed in a very favorable way. Now, some people will make the argument, oh, he's got a disapproval rating that's really big and blah, 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 blah. But you can trust a CBS poll, you can trust an NBC poll, or you can trust how these elections continue to turn out when people are actually casting their vote. And going 37-0 in the primaries with your endorsed candidates is not just a fluke. People are still supporting the president. Yes, the gas prices are high. Yes, it's affecting people negatively. But every other aspect, every other indicator of the economy is pointing in the right direction. And I think it's softening the blow of the gas prices. It's just the reality. And some people will argue against this, and that's fine. But people overall are making more money now than they have been. Wages are up, employment's up, and a lot of this is being offset. Not to mention, the 4 years before Donald Trump, people just got accustomed to high gas prices. So it's not affecting people as harshly overall. I'm just talking about overall. I'm not talking about everybody's individual story because some people are getting hit harder by this much more than others. I understand that. We all understand that. But overall, big picture, the things that have been done by this administration to boost this economy has helped level this out in a way that these gas prices aren't as detrimental as they would have been 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 years ago. All the other things have moved in the right direction to be able to level some of this stuff out. Does that mean, hey, it's okay, we can live with these gas prices? Absolutely not. Nobody's happy about them. Nobody wants to live with these gas prices, and we're not going to live with these gas prices. But we're in a position to where we can temporarily handle this for the time being. Now, we all want this over quickly, quick, fast, and in a hurry. But it's a complicated situation. I don't know when it's going to be over. I don't know how soon it's going to, I don't know if it's going to be over next week or next month. The sooner, the better. But every day we get closer to the end of this thing, and the economy with the gas prices and everything else is going to bust wide open, and it's going to be great for everything. Because a lot of this stuff that's being put together, that's being put in place, it's all going to kind of show itself at the same time. And it's going to produce an economy across the board unlike anything we've ever seen. And everybody's going to benefit from it. Everybody that wants to benefit from it will be able to benefit from it. So, the Iranians think they can hold out. They think they can pressure Donald Trump into backing away and that they can go back to business as usual. Whether that means making their way back to building a nuclear weapon or just rebuilding their military, which is going to take them 20 years to do, or it's just simply staying in control of the Strait of Hormuz. That, first of all, that's got to be a priority. If you actually care about gas prices, you can't walk away from Iran and say, yeah, you guys continue to control the Strait of Hormuz. Because otherwise, your gas prices at the drop of a hat can be right back where they were. You got to have some assurances. You got to make sure that it is made very clear that Iran does not own the Strait of Hormuz, at least until we become the world's gas station, which seems to be happening in current time. So let's see how it plays out. 205-545-9950. We got a lot more show coming up. If you want to get in, make it happen. 205-545-9950, the line, Talk 99.5. The Justice Department's about to make an announcement as well that I believe is going to be an indictment on Raul Castro. And does that mean we're making a trip to Cuba to pick up Raul Castro? Is that the next move? Hey, we're getting close to liberating Cuba as well. And I mean, these countries in our hemisphere that you know, have people, and it's very important to a lot of people in this country. There's a lot of Cuban immigrants in the U.S., especially in, places like Florida, Miami, and others that have family members that are back in Cuba. There was the same thing with Venezuela, that are suffering unimaginable suffering going on in these countries that, can easily be turned around with a little bit of strong leadership. And we've seen that already with this term. So why not do it again, baby? I think it'll be fascinating to watch. We'll see how it plays out. Pro Lift Garage Doors, man. Mike Miller, my buddy Mike, who's part of the Talk 99.5 crew, has been for a long time, not just as a listener, but legit a part of the team, is out there doing what he does best, and that is handle all your garage door needs, whether that's, panel replacement, springs, motors going out, on all kinds of different garage doors. A lot of us have just your standard two-door garage or, whatever it is. Some of y'all got big barns, big roll-up doors, stuff like that, where you store your campers and your RVs and all that kind of stuff. It's all the same. It's all garage doors, and Mike handles all of that stuff. He sees all kinds of different issues every day, and he gets out there and gets them handled, gets them replaced, whatever needs to be done. And I always tell you about the new motors that they have these days. I don't think a lot of people know about them, where they're pretty much silent. They don't shake your house every time you open and close the door like some of these older ones do. So if you want a little bit of a change, or you have an issue going on with your garage doors, reach out to Mike. Let him know we sent you. And being part of the Talk 99.5 family, he'll give you an estimate for free. If you just want him to come out there and see what it would cost, he'll do that. He ain't got a problem with it. And then make your move. Do what you want to do. ProLiftDoors.com. That's ProLiftDoors.com. The phone number, 205-346-8465. That's 205-346-8465. Again, ProLiftDoors.com. I have noticed a break in the text messages that I've been receiving today, John Bird. Not quite as many political campaign text messages.
Mm-hmm. That's excellent.
They have been blowing me up. And I don't know if just they didn't have my number in the past or what, but it seemed to be like it was an exorbitant amount of text messages this time around. Phone calls as well. I don't answer phone calls if I don't have the number stored.
Mm-mm.
But the text messages were just over the top. And I don't know. It's interesting to think what somebody's mindset would be where a text message would actually sway their vote. I think what it's kind of targeting is people that don't necessarily have a dog in a fight in a particular race. And if you hit them with some certain trigger words, such as I'm endorsed by Trump or whatever, that will be enough to have them walk into the voting booth and fill in the bubble for your name. Did you have any problems voting yesterday?
Mm-mm.
At your voting place?
Mm-mm.
You vote in Jefferson County, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't have any issues either.
No, I mean, I didn't have any at all.
My poll worker was actually impressed with how well I did, like how she didn't have to explain to me what to do. And I'm like, well, I've done this a few times. She's like, it's always the younger people that know how to use, because, they got the tablet, and so they scan your license, and then they flip the tablet around,
Mm-hmm.
and they got to sign it and all that kind of stuff. She's like, it's always the young ones that know exactly what to do. And I'm like, well, yeah, I mean.
Did you say, do you know who I am?
No, I didn't. I didn't. Although I do when I do profile people when I go vote. I noticed a Starbucks barista and I said, I know who you're voting for. All right, hour number 3 coming up next.